Hello everyone, and welcome back to Conrail's Ohio and West Virginia Division HO scale layout. This is going to be a layout update. It's actually going to be for August, even though it's technically September right now. I'm kind of been procrastinating a little bit as usual, and got a little bit behind here. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to dive into what I've been up to here on the layout and the workbench this month. As usual, didn't get really anywhere near what I'd like to get done, but still have a few things to show and kind of show what's going on and kind of give you guys a little bit of why I haven't really been doing videos and stuff as much here recently. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as I show you what I've been up to on Conrail's Ohio and West Virginia Division. All right, so we're going to start off over here on the bridge scene here that I've been kind of working on redoing. Not really, just kind of last month you guys saw I kind of started to get foam just kind of set in here. Well, I've got these pieces actually are in here now. This is all foam for working with, and I kind of got to a point where I just couldn't get any farther with it as far as I could see mentally of what I wanted to do. So I'll go ahead and turn the camera a little bit here. So over here on these edges here, this is where I'm kind of running into a bit of a snag as to how I want to work this. Because as you guys can see, we have like our bench work height is like up here, and then our bridge abutments right here. I'm kind of having a hard time trying to figure out how I'm going to work this like slope down in there. There's a piece of the old foam stuff here, and as you guys can kind of tell, it's going to kind of cover up the bridge abutments and look kind of funny. I just can't visualize how I want this to kind of work around these bridge abutments and everything to look right. And part of my problem being is, like, as you see here, this first one, it's built out a little bit, so it's a little bit easier to be able to kind of work my way down this slope, even though it's still going to be a little bit more drastic than I'd like. And this back one, the abutments are literally right up against the edge of the wood, so it's really a really hard spot there. And I just can't for the life of me picture how I'm going to work that in at all with this and how I want to do that. I just can't figure that out. So I kind of just haven't messed with this really, because when I originally did this scene and I did the scenery on it, I just kind of winged it, and that's why we're redoing it right now, is because it didn't come out that great. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do over here yet, but as of right now, I've got nothing. I have no good way to come in and do these, and I don't want to do like a rock wall or anything like that, because it's just kind of, I don't know, it's a lot of hassle trying to get like these, rock pieces to like look right on there and stuff, and try to get all that to work and make sense. And not to mention, I hate working with this plaster stuff, trying to make these rock formations and stuff to run up on the wall here. Maybe if in another couple weeks I still can't come up with anything, I might go down that road. But for right now, I can't really. I just haven't thought of how I want this to work just yet. I kind of know I kind of want a road with the like river creek kind of deal next to it. I'm pretty well set on that. It's just a matter of how I'm going to work these edges in, and I just haven't been able to come out with a really good game plan yet for this. All right, so the next thing I've been the next thing to talk about that I got done this month was these two LMS builds, the Atlas C40-8Ws, the 711 and the 713. This will actually be the last video I posted was the build on these. And that's kind of what's going to get us into the meat and potatoes of why not much has been getting done here. When I finished these two locomotives, you'd see they came out awesome. Very, very happy with how these turned out and how they run, etc. When I got done with them, my plan was to run my intermodal double stack train that I had. Went ahead and dug out all those cars, got them on the layout. That was like a 2-hour process to get all those out of the boxes and get them ready. And unfortunately, as I've mentioned before, I always test run everything before I try to film anything. And guys, when I went to test run it, it was just constant derailing and string line derailing and just problems and problems, which I don't remember having the last time I ran that train, but just something about something about it just kept derailing on the curves and just kind of drove me absolutely crazy. So I'm kind of at a bit of a crossroads here with the layout where might have to make some pretty major changes to the scenery here going forward. Just because I'm sick of fighting with derailments and curves because the radius is only 22 degrees. It might be time to start ripping things out and redoing it. So I'll go ahead and talk to you guys about that a little bit here. I'll probably pull up some track plans so you guys can kind of see what the heck I'm talking about and why it's such a problem. But really, it just kind of was one of those things where I put so much time and effort into these two locomotives and doing the build video and everything, and finally got over here to run them, and just absolute complete frustration. You figure there's probably 6-7 hours into building these locomotives, and then another 2 hours of getting the cars out to just do some basic run around and circle, and had nothing but problems the whole time. So that's kind of put me in a bit of a funk where I haven't really felt like working on anything, because it's kind of hard to want to work on stuff when you can't even run it without it being a problem. So like I said, guys, I'll go into a little segment on that here right now and talk about, what the problem is, and you kind of show you guys on the track planning deal, because it's going to be a little bit easier to see what I'm saying, and why it's kind of a crossroads for me as far as the layout goes going forward, because it's going to kind of, it could be some pretty major changes if I end up going with it here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off here with this is the current track plan of the layout. And as I've mentioned when I did my layout tour, this is not exact, but it's pretty dang close to what the track plan actually looks like on the layout. The curves and stuff are a little bit, slightly possibly different and little track arrangement bits, but for most part, this is it. 22-degree radius curves. And that's kind of going to be our problem here that we need to solve. Now, as you guys can watch that morph there, you kind of see to change everything over to the 30-degree radius curves that I really probably going to have to go with here. It's going to take quite a bit of reworking, especially on the corners of the layout to try and get it right. And as such, like some areas like the entrance to the yard are going to see some pretty big differences. Here's a little side-by-side showing the end of the yard here, the Richards yard. As you guys kind of tell, we're having to move our first turnout for our yard ladder inward quite considerably, and that's actually going to cost me a track roughly. So this is kind of where I've been at a bit of a sticking point, because essentially I'm going to have to tear apart each end of the layout to do this, and it's just kind of I don't know. It's just kind of a bummer, I guess, that I'm gonna have to go in and I'm gonna have to tear all this stuff out to make this work. But I'm kind of at that point where I really need to fix this issue with the curves, so that I could actually run things and enjoy things, because I'm just tired of fighting with it. And So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Now, part of the thing I'm kind of on the fence on is with me having to redo these curves and redo like the yard ladder and all that to make this work, I'm kind of at a bit of a crossroads where I'm contemplating taking out the yard just because how much I'm already having to rip out and redo. Um, just kind of turning that into like more of a scenic area with like maybe some hills or something. But again, I haven't really come to a final decision yet. I'm just kind of going through the motions with this, trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm kind of been playing around with the track planning software, and I've had a few different ideas, but I just haven't really come up with a final game plan yet. The only thing I know for sure is that I need to make a change with it, and I need to fix this so that way I could run some of the longer trains I want to run without hopefully having all these derailing issues and string line problems and um, all that fun jazz. So that's kind of what's been going on with the layout and a little bit what's going on with me. Because like I mentioned a little bit earlier here, I just haven't really been working on anything because I've kind of been stuck in a rut with this whole project. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at the few other things I got done here in August here. All right, so one of the other little things I got done this month was I finally got this QNE boxcar weathered. Should zoom in on that a little bit so you guys can see all the little, rust and marks and stuff. And as I'd mentioned before, like my original plan with these was I wanted one that was like original 1973 paint, which would be this one, which as you guys can see is faded and it's got the rust and just looks rather well beat. And then I have the other car of which I just made some minor decal changes on and brought it up to like a late 90s repaint so it's fresh, just because I always like that contrast between a car that's been run for a long time and seen a lot of service versus a car that's like freshly painted. So that's what ended up going on with these. I finally got them done and over here on the layout. So I'm really, really happy with how this weathered one turned out, though. I really, really like how just all the little rust marks and stuff, how all that looks on this. All right, and the other locomotive I kind of finished up this month, almost finished, is the Genesis Dash 9 here, this BNSF unit. This was just adding loc sound to it. It was a DCC ready unit that I just added a loc sound decoder and speaker to. Did all that. I did like really, really minor weathering. I just basically weathered the coupler and the sides of the wheels. This needs to be programmed, but as I mentioned before, I kind of haven't really felt like doing anything over here on the layout, so I haven't programmed it yet. It's been done for a couple weeks now. Same with the SD38 and MT4 slug set. I did get the slug working right. I was having trouble with it before. I don't know what happened when I was weathering it, but somehow a wire must have touched or something, and it didn't want to run. But I got that squared away. I just need to do all the programming on it. So hopefully this month I could at least get over here and just, do the programming, get this stuff to where I could at least run it back and forth a little bit and hopefully get this one to where it's running right so that way I can finish the video for it, because this will be a video on this adding the DCC and sound. It's going to be a pretty simple video. I don't add any lighting or anything too crazy. I just literally take out the factory Genesis board and put in a ESU board, the one that has the Keeple eyes built into it. All right, another little note here. This month I'm probably gonna end up doing a review demo, check it out video. These new Bowser SD40-2s. I picked up a couple of these, and just the detail on these is really, really awesome. They have all the little, all the little stuff on them. But I guess they come with a factory keep alive and everything. And price-wise, they are still the same price that I was paying when I picked up a couple of these years and years ago now. So I'm probably going to do a video on these for no other reason than I just think they're really cool. And the detail on them is really nice. And I honestly think they're a pretty good value. So I'm probably going to do that. Just kind of trying to do some more stuff that I really want to do here with the channel and with the layout. So we're going to get into that a little bit this month. I'll probably do a video on these here in the coming weeks. All right, so now we're over here at the workbench. It's a absolute mess, as you guys can probably tell, but we have our first prototype for our G52R rebuild car here, as you guys can tell. This one I just got done decaling, but just so you guys can kind of see, the G52R was one that I just kind of had to take one of these side rib panels out of. So as you guys can kind of tell here, it's a little bit shorter, not a lot, but just a little bit. So this is the first one of that. I kind of almost call it like a proof of concept, so to speak, that I can in fact cut these cars in half and glue them back together. And then this over here is one for our G52H here as well. This car again was another one that was shortened down by one rib. And then these in particular also had some height taken off of them. Where is that? This piece here, you guys kind of see that's how much you got to take off the top, so that way you get your variation in height of the cars there. It's not extreme, but that's the way the real cars were on Conrail. So this is kind of my way, since nobody makes these two particular car models in HO scale that are even close to correct. They're just kind of a basic knockoff of the Western ones, or so to speak, and just decaled like it. This is kind of my take on trying to make them correct for Conrail and make them right. So that's what that's been going on with those. Those are coming along pretty good. As you guys can tell back here in the back, we still haven't finished our tool service car here for the welded rail train. Got a little rust on the roof, but that's as far as I got with that. I still have to do all the hand weathering, drawing on the side. And to be honest, I just really haven't felt like it at all. Weathering and doing all that fine painting is something I have to be in the mood for to do. And I just haven't been in the mood for it. And as you guys can tell here in the background, here's some more of the G52Rs I'm slowly cutting in half and starting to glue together, and gonna do all the putty on them and such and all that fun stuff. I'm sure some of you are probably wondering, hey, whatever happened to that welded rail car build you were doing? Well, here it is. I got the top part, I got the base rust coat on it. I have to go over and do the powder weathering on this yet, and then clear coat it and run it in the train, and then there'll be a video out on these. So I just got to get my button gear on that and get that done. I got an ST45 build that I took apart and I haven't gotten any farther with it yet. And I also have a Dash 840, another Atlas unit that this is going to be, I don't remember. I have a number picked out for it, but I can't remember it. But this was a locomotive I picked up that somebody had done like a CSX patch, and then they did an NS patch over the top of it. And as you guys can see, when they did the original patching, they tried to take off the numbers and they took off some of the paint. So I'm going to have to go through and just shoot some paint on this and fix that. But this will be similar to the LMS units. It'll have a Loc Sound 5 decoder and all that fun stuff when it's done. And other than that, I do have some more craziness. I do have 2 more MT6 slugs going. I just decided to go ahead and kind of dive into these and start doing 2 more of them just for my own fun and amusement. These are just kind of an as I have time to mess with it build. I'm not really too concerned with how soon I get these done, but that for the most part, guys, is what's going on here. I really need to get on my computer and play with the track planning software and see what I could come up with to fix the layout and hopefully get things to where I can operate and enjoy it a little bit better. I'm just kind of at that crossroads of where, you know, I'm not really a big operations guy when it's all said and done, at least not with the layout as it is. I mainly just like to kind of rail fan my models as they go around in a circle, as, you know, odd as that might sound, but I just kind of like to watch them go around anymore. I'm not big into operations, so I'm kind of at that point where I'm trying to decide, do I need the yard? Is it going to be worth trying to keep? Because redoing the corners is really going to make that a hard thing to do. Or at least, you know, how many yard tracks do I want to keep? You know, what do I want to do as far as all that goes? So hopefully by the end of this month, I'll at least have a plan and an idea going forward of what I'm going to do. And hopefully I should be able to start getting back to putting videos out regularly and kind of get out of the funk I've been in. Just want to say I apologize to all you guys. I haven't replied to comments or anything in almost a month because I just haven't felt like doing much with this stuff. So anyhow, guys, I hope all of you guys are at least having good months on your railroads and being productive and getting things done. And hopefully next month there'll be more to show and more progress has been made than what I had to show this month. But as always, guys, I appreciate all of you watching, all of you commenting. Appreciate everything about you guys. So until next time, I'm Conrail Steve, and I'll see you in the next video.